Can you get at least 75% of your new clients on a monthly retainer? If the answer is no, that means you're using retention as an upsell. You're forcing them to get them on a monthly retainer with no offer of real value, because the only thing that you're doing is you're running that traditional agency model that relies on this. You have a commoditized offer or service, you close the client, you then deliver on that, and then the client ends up churning when you get average or below average results. What you need to do instead to get 75 to 85% of new clients on a monthly retainer is you need to build the retention into the model. And we've been using this exact model for over a year, and it's worked super well. We've been able to get insane results, and we get over 80% of our new clients onto a monthly retainer. So we get monthly reoccurring revenue with little to no extra work. Okay, now look at this. In 2024, I was running a basic B2B SMMA, like probably what you're running right now, paid ads for companies. I was taking calls in Miami because I wanted to LARP, even though I couldn't afford to even go to Miami. And then I was just making logos for myself because I was completely lost on what to do. I had literally no idea on what to work on my business. So I just started making logos for myself to figure out what aligned with me best, when really I just needed to get some clients. All right. And I was selling my services, paid ads, Go High Level automations, for little over 250 bucks. Okay, so I was making $250, and it was absolutely horrible. I was making about 2K per month. I was in a feast or famine cycle. I was niche hopping from dentistry to car mechanics to car detailers. I was offering commoditized services like paid ads, SEO. I even tried Google My Business. I tried absolutely everything, and nothing worked because I was offering the same thing as the last guy. And they always told me that, but I never wanted to change because I thought that if someone else could do it, that I could do it. But I was heavily capped at my revenue ceiling. All right. And what this also meant is that I was drowning in churn. Clients would work with me for maybe 2 to 3 weeks, and they would end up churning. I was cold calling 24/7. Everything was super complex. I had to do everything manually, and I got horrible results, not only for myself, but for my clients as well. Okay, so it was a super unsustainable business model. Forward to today, 2026, where we run Axelite.io, where I'm now able to travel in luxury first class all the way to Australia, able to meet with some of the biggest CEOs in the regenerative medicine space, drive nice cars, and all of the above. Okay, not to mention we also get really great results for some of our clients. Nothing that I was able to do when I was running a basic B2B SMMA company. Okay, $23,000 Rhino lead and a 2,800 soft wave close. Now you're probably wondering what this model actually is, and I'm going to tell you. But before I tell you what I learned from having this original model of the B2B SMMA and Axelite.io, was that you're only important to a company as the amount of problems you solve for them, the effort that you take away from them, and the money you make them. And you can only do these 3 things when you stop selling a marketing service and you start selling a marketing asset. Now, what we do now is something called a B2B BNR. We're able to do 20K months with hands-off delivery. We have a hyper-specific product that no one else could essentially replicate. We're being irreplaceable for our clients, rather than before when you were a commodity. You could be replaced at any time. We have near 0% churn. So even if our clients don't necessarily get on a monthly retainer, we still offer performance-based guarantees, performance-based revenue. So we take a percentage of any future revenue that we get for them. All right. And this also builds real enterprise value. So if they want to exit in the future, then this is building enterprise value. This adds to the value of the company. We have 80 to 90% profit margins, and we're getting amazing client results, as you've seen here. Okay, so now back to what is a marketing service? What is a marketing asset? So a marketing service, the reason why it is not valuable and you're not important to a company and you cannot scale to where you want to go, you're heavily capped at a revenue ceiling, is because as a marketing service, as the B2B SMA that I once was, you are a very surface problem solver. You only add both client side and internal effort, and it offers no guarantee of results. Remember what I said, you're only important to a company as the amount of problems you solve for them, the effort you take away, and the money that you make them, okay? So when it comes to problems, you're a surface problem solver. You only solve problems that are on the surface. So let's say they come to you and they go, yeah, I don't have enough leads, I don't have enough appointments, and you just start running ads for them, okay? That's not necessarily the deep-rooted problem, okay? The deep-rooted problem could potentially be that they have a sales issue, that they have that they're not running the right type of ads. Okay, there's things that are always going to be different. There's always a deeper meaning behind it. Okay, but as a marketing agency, a service provider, you can only solve surface level problems. Okay, when you are a marketing agency and you offer a service, you are only adding both client side and internal effort, because it's a service. It's tied to your time, it's tied to your amount of effort. Okay, so you're adding both client side. They have to communicate with you as a client, and you're giving them more effort. Essentially, you're giving them more responsibility to communicate with you, and then the internal effort on your side to actually run the ads, or make the automations, or like make sure that the results are coming through, and if you're calling the leads yourself, you call the leads. So all these things, and you cannot guarantee results because it is a service. It is based up to your skills, your knowledge, and that is what it's essentially capped at. But when you run a marketing asset, you will continually solve problems because it's an asset that is built into the company. Okay, you are building the asset that is going to run their marketing infrastructure, so it's going to continually solve problems at a deep level. Okay, it runs to little to no management, because once you build it, all right, and you implement it, it runs basically by itself with little to no management. You can even just hire someone to manage it for you and forget about it. Okay, and it's revenue-based outcomes. All right, so whatever the outcomes are, whatever you're guaranteeing, it is only based off revenue. We don't think in amount of leads, we don't think in appointments, we think in how much money is this going to make the company. All right, now when we look at actually building out this model, building out our offer, all right, most people think that a red ocean is too saturated. I'm sure you've heard of these two different concepts. If you're an entrepreneur, you've heard of the concept of a red ocean and a blue ocean. Okay, the red ocean is usually defined by being too saturated, there's no opportunity, too much competition, and it's way too hard. And a blue ocean apparently has a limited opportunity. It's really easy to succeed because there's little to no competition, so you could just go in with a new idea, but unless you're Bill Gates, this is actually very, very difficult to do. And what we found is, yeah, the blue ocean has a unvalidated market, and if you go in with an offer that's unvalidated, it's going to be super difficult to actually get really good results, and it's going to take a very, very long time. So we go into our research and analysis of building out this offers, of acquiring clients with a red ocean strategy. Okay, because people are making money, and if people are making money, that means we can make money as well, yet a lot faster, because people already went through the trial and error process. So we could skip that and we can essentially replicate their processes. And this is what I mean by that. So let's say you choose that you want to be in the remodeling niche. Okay, well, you're going to go in the ad library and just find a bunch of ads that are currently working in the space. Okay, this is step number one, because this is validating acquisition. Okay, this is validating what is actually working to acquire these leads. All right, and if you see this is being run on June 7th, 2019. All right, this is a really, really long time ago, 7 years ago. So if someone's running an ad for 7 years, that means it must be working. Okay, no one's going to run an ad campaign that is just not performing. That's just not how it works. So you could then go on their page and visit, okay, what's the hooks that are they using? What frameworks are they using? What are the actual creatives that they're using? Here's just a picture of a renovated kitchen. What are the CTAs? It's just like call now. So this is something that you can acquire, all this data. You take all the data from, maybe, I'm not going to give you a specific number of how many ads that you should look at, how many companies you should look at, because that's completely up to you. But go out there, do some research, and find out what's already working. And you can also, let's say if we click learn more right here on this one, we can now find their funnel, we can find their information. We can opt in if you even want to get their post opt-in workflow and their post opt-in workflow. You can even submit for a quote and all of these things. So there's just so much that you could do to essentially replicate and create basically an offer around what's already working. Now, I'm not saying copy exactly what this is, what these companies are doing, or if they're working with a marketing agency, but you want to add your own little spin on it. This is to get a solid foundation of what is actually going to get your clients results, because if it's a red ocean, that means people are already making money, all right? And this is not necessarily just limited to ads. You can also do this for content. Go through remodeling content. You can click on some of these videos, see how many likes. What you want to look for, a metric that you want to look for, is the ratio from likes to followers, likes and views to followers. Okay, the more likes and the less followers, that is an indication that that video went viral, and you're looking for virality, because that is what's going to get your clients' attention. All right, so you keep looking through just a bunch of these videos, all right, and you could find some that are really, really high performers. Like this one's a really, really high performers, and you could put it into AI, put it into Manus, put it into Claude, put it in the ChatGPT, and get it to analyze why this actually went viral, all right? And now you have a solid content strategy that you can use, and you can even just create for your own offer. That can be your entire offer, just creating a content strategy for your clients, all right? This is super simple, and I'm giving you guys pure game. This has allowed me to go from a B2B SMMA of making $2,000 per month to over $20K per month, all right, with a leveraged build and release model, all right? And it also applies to the last thing of websites, all right? Now I'm gonna do this really, really quickly, but if you go remodeling, I could just find a bunch of companies right here. I can call them and I can talk to them, all right? Now this is something that may be a little bit more difficult, but you can call them and you could just ask for advice. You can just be completely honest with them and say, hey, I'm starting a new company and I just want to know what your biggest problems are. I have nothing to pitch you. I have nothing like that. I just want to know, well, like, what are some of the biggest things that you struggle with, and what do you look for when working with a marketing company, or what would actually help you to get to 150K per month? Just gather some data. That is going to be your best friend, all right? And if you want to look at websites, you can look at websites as well, but I'm not going to go through that now, all right? Now, why does this work so well? Why just replicate what's already working, using this red ocean strategy of building an asset, implementing into a company, and just completely going hands off? Why this works so well is because you don't have to have that many clients to make a lot of money. If you're charging $5,000 to $10,000 per upfront per client, if you have 10 clients per month, that's 50 to 100K per month, just like that, from 10 clients. And the reason, if you're saying, oh, well, how can I even charge that much? That's a limiting belief. If you're offering so much value and you're essentially guaranteeing results, because as we said, we're going into a red ocean, all right? We're going into a market that already makes sense. All right, you are going into a market where results are abundant, where people are making money. So there's a guarantee of results. So you could charge $5,000 to $10,000 up front. And let's say, this is a kind of a caveat, if you don't want to go into a super red ocean, super saturated market, all right, you could figure out a sub avatar within that niche, within that industry. So let's say you want to go into remodels. I'm going to keep using remodelers. If you just wanted to go into bathroom remodelers, you could do that. That's a sub avatar. That's going to be hyper specific, and you get them insane results. All right. That's a little bit of a caveat, but also some game to put you on. All right. But what this also does is, when you build this asset, is that you start to acquire more insights, more data. All right. You figure out what is actually starting to work, what's getting the best results, and you start to just get rid of some parts of the machine that aren't working, and you start to really dial it in to the point where you can then offer a continuity offer. And this is where you're able, ties back to the original question that I asked you at the beginning of if you can get 75% of your clients on a monthly retainer. The answer was no for probably most of you, but the reason why we're able to do it is because we build it into the model. And this is how we're able to build it into the model, because we offer a continuity offer that is a part of the original asset. You offer a very low retainer, $1,500 to $2,000 per month for every 10 clients that you have, those original 10 clients. Every 90 days, that's an extra $20,000 every 3 months, all right? That's only 10 clients, and then it compounds. And then from there, you get to build a pool of amazing companies, because you're doing such a great job by building up the asset for them, and then just offering a slight bit of value after those initial 3 months. You do say, hey, we're going to manage it a little bit more for you. We're going to solve a little bit more problems. We're going to do a little bit something extra just for $2,000 per month. And then because you're offering so much value, you build a pool of amazing companies, and then you can get into solving more problems. You start to partner with them, take a percentage of their revenue. You can even start to acquire these companies if you really want to, and then sell them down the line. And this is where you get to $100 million per year. And this is why this model is super amazing. The ceiling is essentially infinite. You can make so much money from doing this, all by just downselling the upsell. All right. There's no upsell when it comes to the retainer. Retainer is not what we're focused on. We're focused on providing initial upfront value to then make the continuity offer, the monthly retainer, a no-brainer. Because you already have gotten them such great results that it's a no-brainer for them just to be like, hey, we're going to pay you just this much. We're going to give you our credit card to pay you $2,000 per month. because that's it. Because it's not a big deal, because we've already gotten them so much great results, so many amazing results. All right. Now, why this works so much better than the traditional agency model? Because the traditional agency model looks like this. Now, for a table to be supported, all right, you need gravity on top, you need a slab, you need beams, and then you need the footing to support it. Okay, so it doesn't collapse. But the reason why most traditional agencies, the retainer agencies and the commoditized agencies, is because they're optimizing for effort rather than optimizing to save their time. And this is what it looks like. So a commodity offer, it would be an AI automation, offering logos, websites. A retainer model, obviously, is just maybe paid ads. You're just offering a retainer. You pay me $3,000 per month. I'm going to do the service for you. A project base, a little bit more complicated, is when you do like more heavy design for them. And if you go in and you build out something a little bit more intuitive for them, okay? And when it comes to the effort to fulfill, the commodity offer is very high, the retainer model is also high, and the project base is very, very, very high, okay? The time to revenue for a commodity offer is very fast, yeah, because you could just build it out really, really quick, and then they'll pay you. That's it. It's super simple. Build a logo, you get paid for it. A retainer model is a little bit moderate to do more work. Same thing with project based, okay? When it comes to leverage for all these things, they're essentially non-existent or low. The revenue ceiling for all these is really, really low. A retainer model is a little bit maybe like 30, 50K per month. Same thing with project based, maybe a little bit more. And then scalability is very difficult because this is tied to your own skills. Retainer model is also very difficult. You have to hire a lot. And then when it comes to project base, it's also very difficult because it's tied to your own skills. And when it comes to dependency, it's very, very weak for a commodity offer because you can literally go to anyone to create a logo. You can go to anyone on literally Fiverr, pay them $50 to create an AI voice agent for you, an AI automation or a website. And then when it comes to the retainer model and everything like that as well, and the project base is also very, very weak. Why AI BNR is so much better is because the effort to fulfill is very, very low. You build it once because you're already essentially copy and pasting what already works out there. You build it as a snapshot in GHL and it's already done. And you just change a little bit of things when you want to fulfill, and boom, takes no effort. All right. Now, when it comes to time to revenue, is very, very fast because you initially, what you build into the model as the initial upfront thing is you're getting the results as fast as possible, and that's a selling point. All right. The leverage is very, very high because you build it once, you implement it infinite amount of times. You can have so many clients. And it doesn't change how much effort that you're putting in. The revenue ceiling is, like I mentioned up here, $100 million per year, and that's baseline after partnerships and acquisition. Like, that is not really too crazy to imagine something like that. So it's basically uncapped. And when it comes to scalability in general, it's very, very easy because you're going from charging a lot up front to then offering a small retainer. You're making $50,000 to $100,000 per month for 10 clients, and then you're offering a little continuity offer to make an extra 20K every 3 months or so, whatever it is, right? And then when it comes to dependency, we're basically irreplaceable because of this. Now, what's the difference between a broke business owner? How do you get from a broke business owner to a $100,000 per month business owner? Well, you need these basic things: offer, lead gen, appointments, sales, fulfillment. And that is the base foundation that we look at when we look at actually just solving problems for our companies, giving them an offer, all right? Giving them our asset. We go in, create their offer, fix their lead gen, fix their appointment flow, fix their sales process, and also fix how they fulfill. And why we're so irreplaceable is because we do all these things with little to no effort on our side, and little to no effort on their side. And this is exactly what Hormozi did. If you think this is stupid and I'm just yapping away and it doesn't make any sense, Hormozi did this with Gym Launch, and he was able to leverage this model, this irreplaceable mindset of just, our clients need us so bad, so it's inevitable that they pay us more money. All right. So he had that front end offer, the front end Gym Launch offer, because it was so attractive, because he can get results really, really fast. So he was able to charge $16,000 up front. So he had a really, really high ticket price. And then because he charged so much up front, he was then able to leverage really, really great talent. And that allowed him to get the best results in the industry, which inevitably got him more clients, then more insights, and he got access to the Netflix style retention, where basically people were just obsessed with consuming his stuff. And that's where he got that Netflix style retention. Then he moved into the retention and the continuity offer that I keep mentioning, where he had basically 1% churn because gym lords would pay him 3.2K per month for over 12 months because he was downselling to an upsell. All right. If you downsell to an upsell, that means it's not much of you have to pay us more for more work, is you're downselling on what the upsell actually is. The downsell is just, we're actually going to do less work. We're not going to do so much. We're going to take less effort away from you. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. But if you want us to keep doing what we're doing, you just have to pay us a little bit more. So there's more value for just less upfront because they already paid what there was. If this was a regular marketing agency, they would charge a lot more than $3,000 per month. But because he can charge the $3,000 per month because he already got the $16K upfront, the initial value to get the great results. All right, it's an insane flywheel, and if you can really grasp this model, then I'm telling you can make a lot of money. All right, you just have to understand the concept of getting that front end offer, getting the great results, and then selling them onto around $3,000 per month retainer. And it just seems like it's perceived by your clients, and it actually is. You're offering more value for less than a regular marketing agency upfront, all right? And then you get insane margins, insane talent, you get even better results, and then you can then solve future and bigger problems in a highly leveraged way because your time and your effort isn't tied to the success, all right? And this is exactly what Hormozi did. This is the exact model. This is what Gym Launch did, all right? So I'm not just yapping away over here, and I'm not just being, giving you complete bullshit. This actually works, all right? And what has allowed us to do things super easily is leveraging AI in the entire process. If you want our AI prompt to find a market, find a sub-avatar, find an offer worth even selling, then comment down below prompt. I'm going to send over the entire thing. And if you also want to know exactly how you can build out this model for yourself, or you want us to work one-on-one with you, click the link down below, apply for a free walkthrough call. We'll even see if it makes sense. If it does, great. If it doesn't, there's no worries. So comment down below prompt if you want the entire AI prompt on how we're going about finding offers and selling it to sub-avatars of niches and actually making 20, 30K per month in less than 3 months. Comment down below prompt. If you want to work one-on-one, click the link down below. I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.